one of the reasons why we picked up the phone is because we read your power rankings here in late May, and that's always a conversation starter. So let's have that start us off right here. And I guess nothing's won in May except the Peter King power rankings in a way. But I'll give you the floor on why you ranked the top teams in the NFL the way that you did, Peter.
Well, I don't think there'd be any surprise about Buffalo at number one. I think they're clearly right now today the odds-on favorite in any, if anybody was going to do power rankings, to be the best team in football. What I try to do, Rich, every year when I do this exercise is I try to say, look, it never, ever, ever happens that teams finish the next year the exact same way they finished the previous year. So most of the reaction is, oh, my God, how can you have the Chargers number two? And I say, well, it's the same as a couple of years ago when I had the Bucks in the top 10, or the year the 49ers went from 6-10 to the Super Bowl when I had them number 7. And it's, you try. Now, look, I'm wrong a lot more than I'm right, but you just try to pick out teams that you see going in the right direction. And with the Chargers, for instance, I see an offense that I think is going to score as much as anybody in football this year. And I see a defense that added Khalil Mack to play opposite of Bosa, that added J.C. Jackson to give them the best corner in the free agent market. And I see a generous run defense that got stockpiled with a couple of big bodies to help them stop the run. So I look at all that, and I just say, I really like the Chargers. And most of the rest of the top 10 is fairly predictable. You'd probably have some raised eyebrows at the Eagles being number 9 and being the best team in the East. But, the Eagles are the NFC's version of what the Chargers are in the AFC. They won the offseason. And a lot of times that can have sort of a denigrating mark on a team. Like, Washington used to win the offseason every year when they signed Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith, and when they would win all the off-season awards every year, and they never played great. But I think what the Eagles have done, particularly with A.J. Brown, is a little bit different.
Well, let's just there's a couple. You gave us a lot of food for thought right there, but let's start with the Chargers, because you have the Chiefs number 3 on your list, your power rankings, and I'll be straight up with you, man. I'm with you on not putting the Broncos top 5. I think a lot of people feel that just add Russ in a spot where he's going to be allowed to cook, which is something I know that makes Pete Carroll irate whenever he heard the Russ, let him cook thing. I don't know if it's as simple as just add Russ and then all of a sudden the Broncos are a Super Bowl contender in 2022. But I'm wondering where you find the Raiders. I think the Raiders are almost as improved positionally as the Chargers. I understand J.C. Jackson was a huge free agent signing, and Khalil Mack is great to have across Bosa. To put Chandler Jones next to Max Crosby and then add Devontae Adams for a quarterback who he doesn't already have to go, on some sort of Bahamas mission to get on the same page with, I think that's pretty darn significant for the Raiders.
I think the Raiders could be really good too. I think one of the problems in trying to forecast the best division maybe ever in the NFL, and I mean that because if the Denver Broncos, as I project, finish last in the division, I mean, they could be the best fourth-place team ever, in an NFL division. And same thing with the Raiders. I could see the Raiders winning 13 games. The problem when you start to try to say this team is great, that team is great, well, they also, and that was my biggest problem with putting the Chargers number 2, with taking a team from that division and moving them way up there, because they've got 6 games against, and they could lose any of those 6 or a multiple of those 6 So it gets to be really, really hard. You can't have all four teams being in the top 10 or being absolutely great, because the record is just not going to show that. And I doubt that all four of them are going to make the playoffs, which would be really tough to do. But I agree with you. I think the Raiders have done an awful lot of good things, two great things. And I think they are significantly improved.
And then, the Chiefs sitting there at 3, the one thing I just need to see, and I don't doubt that it's possible. It is, you could even say probable, certainly with the fact that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes are all in the same meeting room, and then Mahomes is the one who's executing it. I do need to see what this offense looks like without Tyreek Hill. Now, I had Brett Veach on the show just about 10 days ago, Peter, and he walked us through exactly why Tyreek Hill was sent to Miami and about planning and about the years to come. And he also said it might not be such a bad thing that their offense needs to be changed up in a way, because we saw it falter at times in last year that we were not used to seeing. But as we just walk through how difficult this AFC West is going to be for the Chiefs to have, they had two major advantages. It's Mahomes to Kelsey and Mahomes to Hill. You could even say those are the best connections at those quarterback and tight end and receiver positions in the NFL. They coughed one of them up. And I need to see what that looks like, Peter.
I agree. I don't know what it looks like. I guess the reason that I have them so high is that, in Mahomes we trust. And that's the way I feel about it. Plus, it's not like the cupboard's empty, especially with Juju Smith-Schuster and Valdez-Scantling. And look, the one guy who I kept hearing about from the Daniel Jeremiahs of the world before this draft were, Sky Moore has a chance to be really, really good. So, it's not like the cupboard is bare in Kansas City. But, I would worry, too, about the leadership of Tyrann Mathieu being missing as well on the back end of that defense. So there's a lot of question marks that they have. But, again, I put them third because of my faith in Mahomes.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.